Now, in name of Allah, we can start. And I like to tilawat Quran Pak. So please come and you can start. Please come and join for us. And we appreciate. And Dan, thank you very much. That Dan is running for as a supervisor. We have more than 14 years service in the town of Brookhaven as a councilman and as a deputy supervisor. And we very appreciate all the time when we go and all minority people and other people go to his door, all the time door is open, and especially for Muslim people, he all the time help. And the biggest we have starting in a Long Island and Nassau and Suffolk County, we have no any Muslim cemetery. The first time with Dan help, and he's the councilman and his district, with his help and Raymonde help, we making first time in a Suffolk County Muslim cemetery, so we no have a 30 year in the future any problem, and that is the first time we making in a Suffolk County that Muslim cemetery. All the time he opened 2 years, 3 years ago door for us Muslim people. They do Eid celebration, and all the time any issue the Muslim he help us. And not only that, also the main thing 15 years ago town of Brookhaven is not now Brookhaven, that dark, and now it's a bright, more bright, even daylight. That is a big difference for only for Dan Panico, that he doing hard work, and now they have a lot of business opportunities. They have a lot of values real estate in the town of Brookhaven, and we look forward future he will come to that as a supervisor. And also Raymonde we miss, but we more than happy he become to that our county executive, and they can work team together and raise also that attorney, that district, that county attorney, and he worked very hard also against crime. And we very appreciate also, sir, your service, and we look forward in the future also. And now I like to please, we have less than 2 weeks, and we want to work very hard. We can knock on door, we can make a call, and whatever possible, we want to be cross the board. We can do Republican Party, and especially 2 candidates, we more focus Raymonde for county executive and Dan Panico for supervisor. This is very important for Muslim people. You guys can just realize this is our election, and we work very hard 2 weeks, and then after 7th we can celebration all together celebrate, and we can enjoy future for 4 years. This is our election because our children, if the town of Brookhaven and county, they can have less crime, that is good for our children. We want to against drugs, all crimes, and that also they can help us. Thank you very much, sir. Also, I now like to introduce American Muslim, and now please, Ijaz Bokhari, President.
This is one of the, I think, the 5th event held by American Muslims of New York, and I would like to first introduce the hosting committee of this group, starting from my left, Rashid Sulehri, Tahira Din, Muntiqa Shah, and of course, Khokhar and myself. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Ijaz Bokhari, and I'm the president of American Muslims of New York. And I represent a community which is the fastest growing community in this county, in this beautiful county. For many years, we've been a fragmented and disjointed kind of a community who was very happy in getting pictures taken with the political leaders, and who thought we'd done our job. But I think last year, or a few years ago, this community started coming together and say, you know what, we contribute hundreds of millions of dollars in this county, And what do we have to show for our contribution? What do we get back into? And how are we included in the administration of this county? Or how do we affect the policies of the county? And to be honest, we have nothing to talk about. So we said no more. So we as a community, we got together and said, no, whether it's Democrat, Republican, Independent, we're going to vote for, obviously, candidates who are most qualified for the job, but are also receptive to the needs of our community. So this is why the events like this are so critical and important. We have to pick the right candidates. So we started a journey a few months ago. We interviewed both Dave Colon, who is the Democratic candidate for the Suffolk County, and then we interviewed Ed Romaine. And right off the bat, even though we got perfectly picture answers from Dave Colon, which was very eloquently answered, but when we talked to Ed, we knew this is the guy who speaks from his heart, and he won our vote or opinion that this is the guy that we really need to support. And we laid down a series of needs, our foremost needs of the community, and shared with them. And he was receptive to all of them. Not only was he receptive, he promised to deliver the moment he came on. So that is why it is not just about voting. It's just about making sure the future of our children is protected. And so we must support these candidates. And of course, on the same lines, we're also equally impressed with Dan Panico, who I believe is going to be a great, although it's very tough shoes to fill in, but I'm sure he's going to do a great job. And Ray Tierney, of course, is already our district attorney, is the chief law enforcement officer, doing a wonderful job. And we said that we, American Muslims of New York, once the election's settled, we will have a sit down with him and talk to him about the needs of our community and what do we want him to do to make us feel more secure. At the dining table, I was talking to him about there's a huge influx of Muslim community into Suffolk County. And there's a reason why, because it's a beautiful county to start with, and it is it's affordable. A lot of these people are coming from Brooklyn, Queens area, where the values are appreciated, but they don't enjoy the backyard that they could enjoy here. So they're like all migrating here. But that migration can stop in a jiffy if this town or this county starts going south in terms of law enforcement and also in terms of protection to our children. We, the Muslim community, as we all know, we're conservative by nature. And we don't want those progressive democratic ideas being promoted to our children, without the consent of our parents. And that's a huge concern. The law enforcement is a huge concern. All those issues are very, very important to us. So that is why I urge all of you that, when we go to vote, we must keep that in mind, that when we vote, it's not only for Democratic candidate or Republican candidate, but it's a candidate who is going to be securing our children's future. So that is what you need to keep in mind. With that, I don't want to belabor and bore you guys with my thing. I'm going to ask each one of my esteemed committee members to say a couple of words before we ask our guests to speak a few words. Thank you.
Mr. Dave Panico, on behalf of Selden community, we welcome you here. So on behalf of our Selden community, I welcome you here. So I'd like to discuss our politics the way most of us from Pakistan, we've been voting, and our affiliation with the Republican or Democrat parties. Generally, most of the time when you see immigrants coming in from their home countries, they usually land in the most populated cities, and New York is one of them. So landing in New York, you would tend towards blue, you tend towards Democrat, And that's how mostly our community has been voting in the past that I know of. But just one question to my community: what has the Democrat Party done for us? Okay, when we vote for Democrats, we think they will be good for us or for our home countries. If we look back, what did the Obama administration did for us? What did they do for us? Did they stop the drone attacks in Pakistan? No. Did they do anything special for us or for the Muslim world? No. But when Mr. Trump was in the office, it was the other way around. I believe that we achieved much more for the Muslim world under Mr. Trump's administration versus the previous administration. We all know how much money we contributed towards Biden's elections. Did we get any representation in Biden's administration? No. So I think this is time that we focus on our local politics instead of the national politics. Locally, we need to go and vote for the right candidate who would be good for the community at large and also would acknowledge the minorities like us. And we, at this time, the way the Muslim community has grown in the Suffolk County, we can be a decisive factor. So I urge all of our community members to go and register for vote. We encourage our youngsters who are over the age of 18, and if they're not registered, we need to encourage them to go and register for vote, and collectively go and vote on the election day. And this time, these are the gentlemen who we want to vote for because they have promised us from the bottom of their hearts, and we want to go and vote for Ed Romaine and Mr. Dave Panico.
Honorees, Mr. Dave Panico, and today we all here to campaign for him. Before we did for Mr. Ed Romaine, and we said all the people, okay, vote for him. But now today we change, and as a supervisor, I think he's gonna be good for our community. So as Sulehri bhai and Sarwar Khokhar sahab said about the education and the drugs in schools, I think he can play better role for this thing. And I'm also running one organization named Power. It's all working on women's skills, women's education, and all those things concerned to the community. So I urge you, all the community members, please come and vote for him. And it's only 2 weeks left now, and we can hope he can do the better thing for our community. And in future, he's gonna have maybe more. He needs us more. So, okay, thank you very much.
I moved to town of Brookhaven back in 2004, especially when I used to go on, Route 25 and other places. I saw so many shops were closed, went out of business. It looks like, it was becoming like a ghost town. I remember when, since last 14 years, I've seen this whole area has transformed. Especially the roads over here, all the shops, and especially, during the COVID time, so many people from, I would say, city has moved to this town just because it's a nice place to live. And I wish Dan best of luck for his, upcoming elections. And hopefully we'll see Ed and Dan winning. So we only have 2 weeks left.
And I would like to thank Panico, Dan Panico too. So I just want to, a lot of people say a lot of things. I just want to say a few points. We as a Muslim, we have more than 50,000 Muslim voters in Suffolk County, 50,000. These are registered. and we have a lot of unregistered voters. So everybody should go and register their vote, not by himself. He need to call 10 people and make sure they will also register for the vote. Because one people can make a change. Because if one people call 10 people and then 10 people will call 10 people, you can multiply the number. So one people can bring a change up to 100 votes. So that is very important. So vote is very important. You can change. So if you want to change the system, you need to be in the system. So vote is very important. Go and register for the vote and vote. Whatever candidate you like. If you like go and do the vote for the Panico, because he's doing a great job in Brookhaven. Ed did a good job, and we hope he will do a great job better than Ed. Thank you so much, and wish you good luck.
My name is Ray Tierney. I am your district attorney, which means I am the chief law enforcement officer of Suffolk County. I'm responsible for enforcing the law and prosecuting all the cases in Suffolk County. And the reason why I'm standing here is because of the Republican Party. I ran for the first time as a candidate 2 years ago. I had never run for public office before. I had never even been a member of a political party before. But the Republican leader, Jesse Garcia, asked me to run for district attorney. And the reason why he asked me to run for district attorney was for the last 27 years, I had been a prosecutor in both the state and federal levels. I had prosecuted 67 MS-13 homicides on Long Island. I had prosecuted with my chief assistant, Alan, a Colombian drug cartel boss who was responsible he was responsible for bringing in 80 tons of cocaine into our community, and he was hiding in Colombia. So along with Alan, we went to Colombia, we got him, we brought him to Central Islip, we prosecuted him. He's doing 35 years. I had done political corruption cases against corrupt politicians, both the Republican, Democrat, and Conservative Party. I had done elder abuse cases, white-collar cases, and Jesse Garcia asked me to run for district attorney, and it was my honor to do so, and fortunately, I was able to win. And once I won, one of the first communities to welcome me was the South Asian community, the Muslim community. And so I want to thank you all for that. We've developed a very strong relationship with the Muslim community. We hosted the first iftar ever by the district attorney's office. We held that in the Suffolk County Legislature. I hope a lot of you all were able to attend. It was a historic, monumental event, and it's just the beginning. It's the beginning of our relationship, because I am the district attorney in all the communities of Suffolk County, and I take that very serious. I work for you. My office is not mine, it's yours, and we work to serve you. And what we're going to do is we're going to treat everybody fairly, but we're going to keep everybody safe. We're going to fight to maintain the great quality of life and the great opportunity we have in Suffolk County for our families. That's very important. That's why we're all in this room. So we have to fight together to maintain that, and we're going to continue to do that. We're going to, in Suffolk County, you can't take other people's stuff without being prosecuted for it. We're going to make sure if you steal things, you're prosecuted for it. If you sell drugs, if you peddle this poison in our communities, you're going to be held responsible for it, like we've been doing. We're going to talk to our legislature and say, if you sell fentanyl in our communities, we should be able to hold you on bail. If you kill somebody as a result of selling fentanyl in our communities, you should be prosecuted for those deaths, death by dealer statute. So we're going to push for that. We're going to continue. We're going to continue to battle against gangs and gun violence, and every time a gun gets fired in Suffolk County, we are going to prosecute it. We're going to hold the gang members, not only the gang members, but also their leaders, responsible for those things. And these are some of the things that we've been doing. We've been effective, and I'm blessed to be in a county like Suffolk County because of you all of you. You give me my mandate. You tell me these are the things that you want, and so that's what we do, and it's our honor and our privilege to do that. But we're not here because of me tonight. We're here because of Dan Panico, and we're here because of Ed Romaine. And I can tell you, as the DA, I am not in my official capacity allowed to make an endorsement, so that's the last thing I would ever do. But what I can do is I can talk about the man Dan Panico and the man Ed Romaine that I got to know 2 years ago when I first ran. The first thing that I noticed when I was running 2 years ago, The two people who worked hardest for me to help me get my message out to the community was Dan and Ed Romaine. And the funny thing about Dan and Ed, they seem like they're the same person, but just sort of at different stages of their life. Ed is a little older than Dan, but they're great. They're both great Long Island historians. They know everything there is to know about Long Island. They're very smart, they're very hardworking. They know what it is to administer government and to serve the public. They're family men, they're men of great faith, and they're men that I've really enjoyed working with. I work through our quality of life. We're really constantly trying to maintain a great quality of life for all our residents, and Town of Brookhaven is at the fore of that, and I've gotten to work with both Ed and Dan with that Quality of Life Commission, and they are tireless in their commitment to their constituents and to their town. So my fondest wish come January is that I'm going to continue to work with Ed Romaine, but also we're going to have Dan as the supervisor of Brookhaven. He's going to be a great guy. So I just want to introduce my good friend, Dan Panico.
Gift you me with is a voice that carries. So let me tell you this. Ed Romaine is going to be a phenomenal county executive because outside of what he knows here, the man's heart is pure. His heart is good, and he cares about all people in this town and in this county. And it shows, and I hope it shows in your interactions with him. I want to thank the host committee. I want to thank everyone for coming together tonight to support me. And, you know, I am decades younger than Ed Romaine, but we are from the same work ethic. And when it comes to the town of Brookhaven, there's not a person that knows the most important thing that we do in the town of Brookhaven is land use, zoning, and planning. That is the preeminent power of town government. And there's no one in the town who knows land use, zoning, and planning better than I do. And what I am going to do, thank you. I am a Republican. I'm proud to be a Republican. I'm going to work in communities in the same manner in which I have worked in my council district, representing more than 90,000 people. And I represent the southeast corner of Brookhaven. The work that I've done in communities like Mastic, Shirley, and Mastic Beach to raise up the community is going to be the same work I do in areas that really need the help. We are a government and government officials for all people. And, you know, I often am critical of my own party for reaching out only to people who are their natural supporters for votes and for help. We're elected to serve everyone. And when I can use my knowledge and my authority to help people like Bellow Farms, who runs a beautiful business, needs some land use help with his project. When I hear that people have to drive to New Jersey to bury their dead, I find that abhorrent. I think that's terrible. So when the opportunity came for a proposal to have a cemetery, a Muslim cemetery, I said, let's get this done. Let's make this happen. When one of our fastest growing mosques in Shirley on William Floyd Parkway needed to expand, thankfully, people who are coming to faith to pray. When I was approached, I said, how do I help? And not only for the mosque, but the fact how beautiful it is that a mosque is going to include a gymnasium, a basketball court for people of Muslim faith and everyone else in the community to come to know each other. That is what we should all be doing. And I commend all three of these individuals and everyone. That's how you make inroads in a community. That's really what we should all be doing. We all live here on an island, and we should help lift each other up. And I'll tell you, we're becoming fast friends. Our district attorney, who is a phenomenal man of law and order. He's a person who, like me, believes there should be punishment for crime. There has to be. Otherwise, there is no deterrent. And to everyone here of the Muslim faith, the Republican Party is naturally aligned with your beliefs. I'm a father, a 9-year-old son, and a 4-year-old daughter. You know, I don't talk much about national politics. I talk about town government because that's my expertise. But it goes without saying, and it's been said already, I don't need a progressive agenda or other people trying to raise my children and tell me what is right. You don't have to be a Republican or a Democrat to identify with those statements, those past few statements. All you have to do is be a person who cares about your family, cares about your faith, cares about your community, and agrees that we all deserve, no matter of your socioeconomic, background, how much money you have in your pocket, you should feel safe in your community. You shouldn't have to worry. You shouldn't have to tell your kid, don't eat any candy that anyone gives you at school, because kids, we know at times, can be a little malicious and unknowingly give your child or my child gummy bears laced with narcotics or something like that. What kind of a world do we live in when we even have to have an argument as to whether or not we should punish those who peddle synthetic opioids and drugs in our communities and our schools? Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate the support very much. Our views are very much in line. I look forward to serving as your supervisor, but that doesn't happen unless everyone comes out and votes on November 7th. The dark circles I have under my eyes are because I am leaving nothing to chance. My campaign staff, people could tell you, my days start early in the morning and they end late at night. And I will do that for the next 2 weeks through Election Day. I think I'm going to win, but I'm not leaving anything to chance. And I'm going to win, not because of me, but because of all of you. And ensuring you come out and you vote early, vote on Election Day, and as was said, text somebody. Don't let your vote and your voice be singular. Create a network. Make sure the people who you have similar values with come out and vote, because that is your voice. Because ultimately, everyone gets the government they deserve, right? Either by staying home, you stay home, you don't vote, you get the government that other people elect. You come out and vote. In our democratic society, people get the government they deserve. And it's voters that make the decisions and put people into the office that promulgate the rules that we all live under. So I want to just close and say thank you very, very much for the support. It does mean a lot. And when I am the supervisor of this town, my door will be open to you to help advance your vote. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dan. Thank you very much. Thank you, Bello Farm, Qureshi Saab, Dr. Jaleel. Also, that very appreciate President of that mosque, biggest mosque in the town of Brookhaven. I appreciate Tahir Saab, also brother, that also Shirley, he represents that, also Mount Sinai people, and all committee member and all my guests. I be very appreciate, and please, if we can work 2 weeks very hard, we can have a future, better future for a year. If 2 weeks we miss, we can have a lot of problem, social problem, economically problem, religion problem, lot of we have to face. So we work very hard, we knock on door, we text door to door, we can meet people. 2 weeks, if we work very hard, is better for us. Thank you very much again. Mr. Imam, you come in very late, but I appreciate also Mount Sinai Masjid. Sheikh Saab, please come to here and speak out.
We are very, we are doing well in town of Brookhaven, except that lately we have started hearing that at startup level, shortage of apartments, shortage of accessory apartments in the house. we're hoping that you will win. And what is your take? What do you plan on? Are you going to make it easy for people to have apartment in their empty nest people or accessory apartments? Is this any under the plans?
There's a process by which anyone in this room, if you own a home that's owner occupied, to get an accessory apartment, to have somebody come and to live in your home, the process is actually very simple. And I found going out and speaking, many people don't know that. You even have an accessory apartment review board who reviews all of these applications to come in. It's quite simple. If you want to have an accessory apartment, it's 1 bedroom in your house, as long as your house checks out and it's in no way a safety hazard. And the code that we enforce is New York State Fire and Building Code. The town doesn't have its own code. We enforce the state code. If you want to have an accessory apartment, call our office. We'll help you through the process to get to where you want to be. If you want to rent your home, you have an absolute right to rent your home. If you own a second home, a third home, you just have to get a rental registration. Make sure it's safe. We can help you through that process as well. A lot of people, I find, some people just ask for forgiveness instead of permission, right? Larry picks up those people. And then there are people who just either don't know or just think the process is going to be too cumbersome or costly or timely. That's where we come in. We are here to help. And again, we'll reiterate, you have 6 council members in the town. Each one of them have 2 members of their staff. We have an entire building department, a planning department, housing and human services. We have staff on hand to help you. Now, if you want to take your house and you want to make that single family home into a 4-family home, can't help you. Can't help you. You'll see the law department in district court, but if you want to do things the right way, we are here to help.
Making a comment or speech, I have a question from Dan. I know Dan for a long time. Perhaps you don't remember, I know him when he was working with Kevin Roman. We met first time when you were working on his campaign.
Yeah.
God bless his soul, he was a nice man. My question to you, that you have said so many things about the town and so many departments, and you know that such a diverse community we have. How many employees you have Muslim in the whole town? I don't think even one.
You know, I don't know. I honestly, I don't know. I guarantee you we have at least one. But
Then I know one.
I honestly don't know. I don't know. I've never been asked that question. But, you know, perhaps if I am elected, we could have more.
Definitely.
Right?
I know Dan Panico since I was 10 years old. I was in the 6th district, and he pretty much cleaned up our streets and our neighborhood, and he's helping us a lot immensely with our mosque. And he's a great guy as an individual, and I personally like him a lot, and he's a close friend of mine now. But one thing, Dan, I request to you to garner the support of the Muslim people, specifically the Muslim people, regardless if they're from Pakistan, from Bangladesh, from Yemen, or wherever they are. At recent times, we're going through a lot of struggles, and as you probably know, and you probably watch the news, the Palestinian people, they're Muslim people, they're hurting right now. So if you can just tell the Muslim people that the innocent lives from both sides of the table, whether they're Israel people, we condemn violence in anywhere in the world. We're good citizens, we're affluent people, we're successful people. Our successful brothers here, influential people here, very successful, and they are here, and they just want you to say that, you know, you want innocent people to be saved from this destructive war.
That's good. That's universal. That really is. That's a good point. It's innocent people around this globe, and in this war most recently, are being killed. Israel, Palestine. It's always the innocent people who get killed and who struggle. And I was recently speaking at Longwood High School, and I talked about this. And I talked about the fact that at times as Americans, it could be easy to believe or be led to believe that everyone is like us. right? That it's 2023 here, but in many places in the world, it's hundreds of years back in terms of progress as humans and in humanity. And I think when I said that, it was all group mostly of 10th, 11th, and 12th graders. I'm not sure. I'm not sure they got what I was saying. So I had to go into more detail in that in many places of the world, because of your faith, simply because of your faith, you're put to death. Where you don't have a democratic form of government, where a person like myself could ever exist. All of us could exist here in this room peacefully without somebody coming through that door to, lead us to the end of our lives, unfortunately. That's the world in which we live in, and for which we should all be very thankful that we live in this great country. And to your exact comments, we should all pray for the innocent people, regardless of who they are, and especially the children. There are no people on this earth more innocent than children, because they haven't done anything to anyone. And when you turn on the news, and I'll tell you, as a person involved in government, I don't like to turn on the news, especially not before you go to bed, because it's nothing but bad news, right? It's nothing but bad news.
We live to this beautiful country, and this is New York and Suffolk County. We live together, Christian, Muslim, Jewish together, and we want to be peace, especially in a county. We don't want to any hate crime. We respect each other religion, we respect each other skin, and we want to keep that peace in especially county and state, whatever. They have a lot of involved issue, but we also against any human nature, any children, anything that. Thank you very much.
First of all, I think the mosques in Brookhaven and Suffolk County are the main attraction for all the Muslim families to moving from wherever they are. And there are two types of Muslims moving in here. One are the highly educated professionals, and the second part is people like sitting here with pocket full of money. So they are looking for a good area, good place where they can raise the family, invest the money. You being the supervisor, you're not running, you are supervisor, the way I look at it.
Yes.
We are hoping that you are going to open the gates for the business community to take the money out, which is in the pillow or in the basement or wherever they are hiding, to invest. Because I know people over here, they are already looking forward to that day to take their money out.
Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe.